In the state capital of Texas, first ever meeting between the Austin Aztex and Arizona United, both coming into the capital city on a winning note in their last match as they collide here in House Park, their first of 4 matches on the year in this 2015 USL campaign. Hello everyone, welcome inside the broadcast booth here at historic House Park. Lincoln Rose along with Kit McConico. And Kit, these are two teams that are meeting for the first time, but some of the ingredients, we'll get into that throughout the broadcast, pretty familiar with one another.
That's right. Two teams that play the very same style, very aggressive, high-pressure attack, and expect to see some goals this evening.
Let's take a look at our keys to this matchup. First up for the visitors from Arizona.
So first up for the visitors, they have to get the ball to the two guys up front, talking about Mr. Longtan and Dennis Chin. Chin leads his team 2 goals and an assist, and he can certainly put the ball in the back of the net to keep an eye on him. And, well, for the Aztecs, they have to play the full 90 minutes. They've done a good job. They had the 2-0 victory last week up at Tulsa. Really have to complete the game, and the midfielders, well, they're going to have to drop back and take care of their defensive responsibilities.
Take a look at some of the standout performers thus far this year. First up, Dennis Chin, the man who led the league in scoring 3 years back, 2-time champion in this league with Orlando City SC, now making his place right at home with 2 goals and assists early on.
Yeah, keep an eye on Chin up top. Always a danger. He'll be looking to press the pace early and often, along with his line mate, Mr. Tan, up front for Arizona United SC. For the Aztecs, well, it's going to be the opposite, the man in goal.
Yeah, Devin Perales coming off his second shutout in 3 matches thus far as a pro with the Aztecs. Saw 22 shots on the road come his way from Tulsa, 8 saves, the 8 shots on goal all denied. So Aztecs and Arizona United colliding as we take a look at the starting lineup. Not much of a change for the visitors. It's been a winning note in each of their first 2 matches. This is their 3rd straight match of the year on the road. They're looking for the full 9 points.
Well, starting the season, 4 games on the road for Arizona United SC. Keep an eye on the man between the pipes, Carl Wazinski, and obviously the ex-Aztec Robbie Deershang up front with Dennis Chin and Long Tan. That trio, very, very potent attacking.
And the starting lineup for Coach Dalglish of Austin. Sandy Teray is at the top, but it was Chris Tierpak who double-dipped, had the brace in Tulsa, including the game winner in that 2-0 victory.
Drew Yates comes in up top, playing on the right side, gives a little height, good in aerial situations. And on the back line, the captain, Kyle Hoffer, he was the man who pulls the strings in defense.
We take one final break. When we come back, opening kick between the Aztecs and Arizona United here in Austin. Game in hand as the Aztecs 2 victories and 1 loss on the year. Arizona United is a perfect 2-0. Kit, the first 4 matches on the year for Arizona United SC, all on the road before they finally get to go home to their new home over there at beautiful Scottsdale Stadium.
Yeah, they've actually won the last 6 games, won the last 4 of the USL season in 2014, the first 2 here in 2015. Looking to press that stretch all the way to 7. And a very impressive team, as we said, comeback victory last week over the LA Galaxy 2, and looking to start 3-0. The Aztecs, When you take a look at the new addition, the man up front, Mr. Yates, wearing the 12, along with Sani Toure. Keep an eye on those two. Sani Toure, well, his first game as an Aztec, scored the first ever Aztecs professional goal, and expecting more from him.
Underway in Austin, you talk about Drew Yates, just a little over 20 minutes thus far this year, makes his first start, former national champion with the Terrapins at Maryland back in 2008 at the College Cup. But head coach Paul Dalglish really excited about his ability to make that final pass. Could very well connect with someone like Toure or Tierpak by the end of this one.
Yeah, visiting head coach Michael Della Russo is actually an assistant on that Maryland team when Yates won the national championship. A very impressive job. He was there before moving on to Arizona United.
That is the first of so many connections between these two sides and their players. You talk about Arizona United. Paul Dalglish has coached some of these players back when they were on FC Tampa Bay in the old USL second division. Of course, that team has gone on to become Tampa Bay Rowdies in the North American Soccer League. Orlando City SC, another spot where we saw players like Fekete as well as Chin, Valentino, and Tan all combined for championships in this league under the old USL Pro title.
We mentioned Robbie Deershang for United SC in the pregame, who won the 2013 USL PDL as a member of the Austin Aztecs. You and I spoke with him pregame and said it really hasn't sunk in that he's back here with the visiting side.
Mentioned that Arizona United so far a perfect 2-0 despite beginning their season on the road. Well, the Aztecs just got done with their first road trip of the season, albeit a modest trip up to Tulsa up at One OK Stadium. And that was a situation where Aztecs found 2 goals from Chris Tierpak and never looked back. Conversely, Arizona United, give them credit. They were shut down for the first 50 minutes in their last match on the road against Los Dos of LA Galaxy 2. And well, all they did was come back from a 1-0 deficit, score the final 2 goals, including one in stoppage time, to give themselves that second straight victory to start the year. Lob into the box as the Aztecs knocking on the door here early on. Ball on the foot right now. That left boot belonging to Mikey Ambrose, one of the Aztecs who decided to forego his final year of college eligibility. The other one, most notably, is the man being attacked right now in the all-red kit, the Aztecs keeper, Devin Perales. Sandwiched between his 2 shutouts, kid, of course, was the last time that the Aztecs were here. It was a rough outing against the Vancouver Whitecaps FC2.
That was a tough game. The Aztecs coming out on the other end of the 3 points. The first loss of the season here at home, but that game actually doing some good things for the Aztecs, making them reevaluate, and that bounce-back victory, as you said, last Saturday night in Tulsa. The Aztecs looking to string together back-to-back wins for the first time this season. That
was Jonathan Top for Arizona United that was giving that ball chase up until it crossed the line. Top, the 22-year-old out of Fort Worth, about 3 hours north of here.
Top with some friends and family in attendance, saw them wearing some Top shirts. They were excited to come down and watch him have a go here in his home state.
Was with FC Dallas for 4 years. Last year was loaned from FCD to Arizona United. Up ahead to Tierpak. Tierpak in MLS last year with Chivas USA. Step through, miscue on the back line. Vulnerable numbers in favor of Austin. And a sensational effort with nobody else to come up with the stop. As again, that is Carl Wazinski, the talented keeper from Columbus, Indiana. Former Blazer at UAB, and it looked like there was going to be an opening goal on the board for the Austin Aztecs early on.
Yeah, beautiful work from Wazinski. Goes by Waz, does the big man between the sticks, and well, that's what Arizona United fans have expected to see from him just 2 games in. He has been absolutely lights out. Was on the USL Team of the Week the first week in the season.
There were 3 strikers for the Aztecs headed his way, and he had no time to hesitate. Quickly back into the box across, but nobody home for Austin. Struggling to clear, though. Tierpak giving some pressure back up to the midfield. And flirting with that 18-yard box. Drive sent in, and Arizona United sends it right back. We will note, artificial surface. This is a narrow pitch, but you're not confined to the American football lines. There are blue lines that these competitors will be confined to. The 18 is marked in blue, and the far sideline in blue. It's even beyond a maroon lacrosse line.
Yeah, the Aztecs with the best chance of the game in the first 5 minutes, unable to capitalize. Wozinski so good on that back line, along with another native Texan young man, Damian Rosales, played at SMU.
Tierpak to Ambrose, lobs it up ahead. Flag is down. Left boot delivers far post, but continues to curve one. And Saini Toure thought he had his second goal of the season right there.
What a ball played in from Chris Tierpak, on the money, over the top, landed perfectly. And Toure able to settle it nicely, just unable to get the shot on frame. The Aztecs taking control early.
And after all that, 0-0. And a foul going up for that ball. The victim was the man on loan from the Columbus Crew, Kalen Ryden, who will get this ball started once again.
Yeah, the Aztecs, one of the teams affiliated with an MLS squad. You mentioned LA Galaxy too, obviously Seattle Sounders too, Vancouver Whitecaps too. Well, the Aztecs, they are affiliated with the Columbus Crew SC.
Toure again, and this time does not hesitate. The quick strike, and that in part a reflection of his struggles on the previous possession.
Yeah, Toure getting a bit frustrated, knows he should have found the back of the net at least once by now, possibly even twice. Toure, a veteran, he's been a long-time USL member with the Harrisburg Islanders, and then down in the NASL with the 2014 champs San Antonio last year.
Well, Austin statistically has had some interesting lines these past two matches when you talk about the shot discrepancy and the ultimate result. And that includes giving up those 22 shots to Tulsa, 8 on frame last week. You never want your keeper to have to make 8 stops, but it's always nice if there are 8 shots on goal if he does come through each time.
Yeah, two of the better goalies in all of the USL in action tonight with Wozinski and Perales. And two of the better attacking lines. So this will be a good one. We're going to see a lot of shots, a lot of good saves. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome in all the fans back there watching at the Handlebar in Tempe, having the official watch party there for Arizona United SC, and a special hello to La Furia Roja 1881, the official supporters group there in Phoenix.
Yeah, they've had time to perfect the watch party with all these road matches to start the season. Eager to welcome them back home to the Phoenix area.
Yeah, that first match will not be until April 25th. Hosting the Portland Timbers 2. That beautiful facility right there, the Scottsdale Stadium, moving on from Peoria to the other side of Phoenix, and one of the nicest facilities in the Valley of the Sun. Absolutely beautiful, and I know those fans really looking forward to that home opener.
Well, top individual performance of this match thus far came in the 4th minute. Carl Wozinski in goal had to come off his line with 3 Aztecs coming his way. And all he did was reach out and strip that ball away from danger. It was the first of 2 opportunities that Austin probably solidly believes should have led to a number other than 0 gracing that scoreboard.
Absolutely fantastic one-on-one save there from Wozinski. As you said, the Aztecs, they had 3 guys unable to find the back of the net. And they'll be lucky to find an opportunity that good again.
Midway through the 8th minute here in Austin, Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico with you. Austin Aztecs already their 3rd home match of the season. They've already had their only Wednesday match at home this year. Still a decent crowd a week back. Ball goes through the midfield right now on the boot of Rosaboom, and he will fire one up ahead. Awkward hop, and again, Wozinski does not do a good enough job the first time around, but Aztecs cannot make him pay.
What another fantastic save from the one-time Orlando City SC player last year, playing alongside Dennis Chin in Orlando City before both of them moved on to Arizona. And, well, he has been as advertised, absolutely lights out. 6'5", 210 pounds, and well, very agile for that big of a man between the sticks.
Orlando City, for the few not aware, of course, had its origins right here in Austin. Originally the Austin Aztecs U23 side, for ultimately picking up and moving out to the Sunshine State and dominating the USL Pro really in its final handful of seasons, including a couple of titles, with participants in this match on both sides. Ball sent up and through from Travis Golden out wide.
Yeah, you like what we've seen from the Aztecs, switching the play of field, really using the entire width of the pitch here at House Park Stadium.
Rosaboom back to Golden. That one staying close to the turf. An artificial surface here in Austin. Historic House Park, the home of the Austin Aztecs now for a 4th straight year, the first 3 years as a PDL side. House Park opened, well, these near side stands on the east side poured back in 1937. The west side that you see across the way, 1947. Really a great venue with wonderful tradition. Nowadays the home of various Austin Independent School District football, lacrosse, and soccer teams. The reason why in 2008 they finally removed the natural surface and put in the more durable artificial turf. Morales hoping for a 3rd clean sheet by the end of tonight. All the credit to Arizona, despite several opportunities for the Aztecs to put a goal on the board. They are still in this one on the road.
Yeah, great action here, box to box. Both teams really pressing the pace early on. The Aztecs with the better chances, but unable to capitalize, and well, that's all that matters, being able to put one in the back of the net.
Back in to Perales. Devin Perales, the 21-year-old from right here in Austin. Went on to play college ball at both Coastal Carolina and then SMU. Attended a couple of high schools in the area. St. Stephen's, the private school, his junior year, wrapping up at Stony Point as a Tiger in the Round Rock area, just north of Austin.
And as you mentioned earlier, one of 2 Aztecs forgoing his final year of college eligibility to join this now professional Austin Aztecs side, their inaugural year as a pro team. United SC, obviously, their 2nd year as a professional outfit.
Looking for Tierpak, over to Teray. Teray has a couple of shots on frame in this matchup. Sandy Teray scoring the first ever goal for Austin. Last 2 years in the NASL, 2nd division of United States Soccer. But of course, he has a great history here in what was the USL Pro, now the USL, in terms of scoring. Big set piece for Austin. You see the intimate environment so close to the fans for this delivery off the right boot. Another chance to put one home. And they're going to redo it. Not to the liking of tonight's official, Kyle Phillips. A little too much jostling within the final 6 yards.
Yeah, 2 big physical teams. You're going to see the bumping, especially in the box on set pieces.
In front of the near post, a little contact with the frame. It's back in place, and again, the story thus far, Arizona survives.
As you mentioned, Arizona unbeaten, 2-0 on the season. The Aztecs 2 wins, 1 loss. But Arizona just 1 point away from making the playoffs last year in 2014. They won their last 4 games of the regular season, and we're trying to get off to a better start this year so they don't have to make that a last-minute gasp, hoping to get into the playoff picture.
Boy, have they. Full 6 points through 2 matches thus far. And a late foul here on the near side. We'll keep the ball with the visitors. After tonight, Arizona United will stay on the road, heading over to the West Coast to take on the OC Blues before you noted, Kit, finally hosting the likes of Portland on April 25th over there at Scottsdale Stadium, the converted baseball ballpark. A beautiful facility. We saw, again, what they did with Tulsa, the Aztecs' last opponent, with that AA baseball ballpark. Of course, Scottsdale Stadium, the home of the San Francisco Giants during the Cactus League spring training this past month. Making run is Tierpak. This ball, though, will wind right back up with Wazinski.
The Aztecs send in a lot of long balls, those route 1 balls out of the back. Not traditionally their style. They like to play 1-2 touch pass, a little triangle passing, but they've had a bit of success they've had the openings.
Dershank kept that ball alive. Nice tackle on the edge of the 18. That final defensive third defended.
And that's exactly what the Aztecs have come to expect from Kalen Ryden, the young man on loan from Columbus Crew SC, originally from Norman, Oklahoma, but he has made some fans here in Austin, Texas.
Ambrose left boot has one man making a run. Well off of his line was Wazinski with no other help in the area.
Yeah, Wazinski had no other choice. Twice he's come out of the box, and, well, the right decision each time. And he's, as I said, he's been, as advertised, absolutely fantastic through the first 15 minutes.
Noted Arizona did not have its first goal until the 50th minute against Los Angeles this past weekend. Aztecs were able to find success in the opening half on the road against Tulsa, with this man scoring a brace. Tierpak centers the ball to Toure. They'll wind up with the new addition in this lineup, Drew Yates.
A huge game for Chris Tierpak, the one-time Chivas USA man, the 2013 USL PDL MVP. And he really needed that breakout game. He'd been pressing, able to get both goals for the Aztecs in their 2-0 victory over Tulsa.
Tierpak saw 9 matches of action with the MLS side, Chivas USA. All of it pretty much mop-up duty at the end of matches. He values this opportunity to start and go the full 90 here in the USL with what essentially is his old side, the Austin Aztecs, although one level higher.
Well, and Tierpak, another local product from just southwest of us in Dripping Springs, was the 2-time local high school boys player of the year, and Aztecs fans very familiar with what he can do.
How about this whistle, 25 yards down? There'll be a steep diagonal offering for Austin. Ambrose hovering over it.
Ambrose so impressive, one of those new breed of wingbacks, always pressing forward to looking to start the offense. Arguably the fastest player on the Aztecs roster, he and Trevin Caesar.
Former Maryland Terrapin in his own right. Second team all-conference in the ACC during his college days, and Arizona United will back up the Aztecs just a bit now for a throw-in.
You see the Aztecs, all their field players well on the United SC side of the pitch. This is a team, they play a high line, a high-pressing squad. Much like Arizona United, these two teams very similar in their strategy, what they're trying to accomplish.
Good throw into the 18, though sent right back out. Perhaps insufficient postage. We'll see if they're able to get it a little bit deeper this time. And Wazinski, as he has been all night long, Johnny on the spot.
His confidence level has to be absolutely sky high, coming up with that one-on-one save in the 5th minute. And ever since, he has just locked everything between those big gloves.
Ball driven up ahead. Aztecs have numbers, and it'll wind up with Perales.
Good work there from the captain, Hoffer, just sending that one back via the head. Hoffer and Ryden getting a little punch in the middle of that back line. Ryden not as tall, but certainly a big body, muscular, and certainly handle himself. Hoffer, the prototypical center back, tall, plays well in the air, and always directing traffic.
And again, our referee, Kyle Phillips, feels the need to step in and appears to be reaching into his pocket. I didn't see him pull anything. And so he'll just separate a couple of competitors. Toure. And the flag was up for offside.
Yeah, the trap executed very well that time. Highline just pressing right before that ball was played to Toure.
Stanley Toure, that knee that had bothered him last year in the NASL, appears to have recovered. He has such a great stride, so quick, and up until that offside had been very disciplined here in the early get-go. That's speed at times can be his own worst enemy.
That's Toure, the man that all the Aztecs fans were holding their breath about how his knee would hold up. If he was healthy, well, he can score goals in bunches, and so far his health has been on his side. Aztecs fans, fingers crossed it stays that way.
Tierpak looking for Ambrose, and the toss will belong to the home side. Well, how often do we see a match like this where one side dominates the opportunities and all of a sudden just one letdown and the team that had been on their own heels finds himself up ahead? A dangerous scenario right now for the Aztecs, as United SC crosses midfield, but nothing more. Tierpak making a run without the ball off your screen.
That's the game we love. You can dominate for 90 minutes and even into extra time, but all it takes is one swing of the boot, one knock of the head, and fortunes can change instantaneously.
Sizable Rosaboom will lay it out wide. Into Tierpak. Inside the heel, and Teray with some ill-advised contact on Wazinski.
Yeah, it didn't look like Teray had any space or any time to pull away from that tackle. Wazinski, 6'5", 215, no worse for wear, having a look down at Teray, still down on the pitch.
It's like a runner on third trying to come home and plow over the catcher.
A very big catcher, I might add.
And Teray assessed the yellow.
So the Aztecs find themselves going in the book first in the 21st minute. Seni Teray picks up the first caution of the game. Now settling into a bit of a rhythm after the Aztecs pressing so hard in the first 10 minutes for the opening goal, but unable to find one.
With the toss from Rosales. Back to the 23-year-old from San Felipe, Mexico. Playing with two footballs there for a moment. Well, a nice display of possession at midfield. We'll see if anything comes of it. Here's the run. That back line in place.
Arizona now taking advantage, looking to press. The Aztecs so dangerous in the counter.
Rosaboom. Physicality paying off. Out to Teray. He'll try to use his stride to keep this ball in play. Cannot do so. Back over to United SC.
Yeah, I must say, very impressed so far with the young man in the, well, not so young man in the middle of the pitch for the visitors, Rob Valentino, the 2011 USL Pro Defensive Player of the Year. And one of those guys really pulls the strings in the middle, always dropping back defensively, but there to press forward on the other end.
Back to Rosaboom in that right boot. Teray pokes it away. Ambrose will watch as his teammate Travis Golden, another Austin area native. He went to Bowie High School here in the capital city. Great effort, but it won't be rewarded for Rosaboom.
Yeah, great work. Rosaboom lost it, but able to backtrack and get to it quick enough to knock it into touch. And he has come on very impressively in the past few games as the young man from Iowa.
Yeah, he was a part of that New Mexico team that went undefeated back in 2011 for the College Cup. Teray all by his lonesome among a trio of opponents, and the numbers pay off for the visitors.
Yeah, Rosenboom and Rochandel playing in the middle of the park.
Third match on the year for Arizona United SC. 2 wins, no draws, no losses. Perfect thus far. Austin Aztecs' fourth match, third here at home. With 1 win, 1 loss at home thus far. 1-0 on the road after going to Tulsa this past weekend for a 2-0 decision.
And the Aztecs forced to change the starting lineup just a bit this week. The big Brazilian Guaraci picked up a knock on the knee last week in Tulsa. He'd started all 3 games prior to tonight, and he's in street clothes, not even on the bench as a substitute.
Yeah, Guaraci had to leave during that Tulsa match with the knee. Fernando Timbo, the Brazilian, out with a groin still. And the man, Alfred Shams, or Alfred Karuma Shams, depending on when you first learned about him, a guy who was called up to the United States U23 side to get a workout and has not been able to make his debut yet here with the Aztecs as he's been ailing ever since returning.
And got that call up for the U.S. men's under-23 side to go play in Europe in 2 friendlies, along with former Aztec Kyrie Shelton, now plying his trade with NYCFC, the number 2 overall pick in this year's MLS Super Draft.
A hamstring ailing him so far. Boy, will he be a welcome addition for Paul Dalglish. And a foul on the man on loan from Major League Soccer, Kalen Ryden.
Ryden never one to shy away from getting physical.
Big opportunity for Arizona United SC, as Morrison at the moment will hover over the ball. The 31-year-old out of Scotland. 2 goals last year, 1 assist. Could he get the visitors on the board here with that left boot? Perales halfway between the wickets. Morrison delivers off the wall.
Yeah, the man from Aberdeen going for goal himself, not looking to play that to a teammate, and the wall standing strong.
Aztecs not in the clear just yet. And now plenty of room for a leisurely stroll. Tierpak.
Waiting for help. Now the Aztecs pressing on the slow break.
And that's the new addition for the Aztecs in the starting lineup, Drew Yates. He'll now entrust the ball to his teammates and move up the pitch. Rosaboom out wide.
And Yates getting the starting place of Trevin Caesar, the man from Trinidad and Tobago. Yates, very different players. Caesar more diminutive, but very, very quick. Yates, a big body up front. Always a threat in aerial situations.
Yeah, Caesar's been so good as a super sub. He did plug in for that start in the lone loss back on Wednesday a couple weeks back. He'll have a chance likely to sub in by the end of this one. Again, 5 substitutions available to both teams here in the USL. Perales will send this one back towards midfield. And offside, flag is up.
Toure unhappy with that. Toure saying there was a man 5 feet to the other side of me and trying to figure out how he was offsides. You mentioned the 2 Brazilians earlier, Guaraci and Fernando Timbo.
Offside going the other way.
Both now part of the Aztecs with their new partnership. The Aztecs have that MLS allegiance with Columbus Crew SC and a partnership with a team down in Brazil, Curitiba. And Curitiba sending some guys up from their squad here this evening on hand to watch this match.
Yeah, Timbo has spent the majority of his career with that Brazilian side. About 8 years for coming up to the Lone Star State for this season.
Yeah, the adjustment for those guys hasn't been on the field. Soccer's the same in any language, but culture, well, that's a bit different, harder to adjust to.
We saw this when Paul Dalglish was leading the Austin Aztecs in the PDL to that championship a couple years back, but his presence on that bench is going to allow you to create some connections throughout the globe.
And Paul Dalglish, obviously the son of the world-famous Kenny Dalglish, the great player and coach at Liverpool, and Paul, a fantastic player in his own right, winning the 2006 MLS Cup as a member of the Houston Dynamo. Now, in his 3rd year as a coach, really making some waves. Columbus Crew so excited for this partnership with the Aztecs, saying it's the thing that we know about Austin. They develop players, and that's why we're excited to be partnered with them.
If Kenny's king, have you ever attempted to call Paul Prince?
I have not. I will let you do that.
We may be missing a broadcaster by the next home matchup. Well, for those of you who tuned in late, I'd recommend scrolling back to the 4th minute on the YouTube stream. You'll be able to see a great stop by Carl Wazinski when it looked all but certain that Austin was going to strike for an early lead. A couple of other opportunities thwarted. Things not going the Aztecs' way on a couple of shots. They've had the majority of the opportunities, but so far a level match on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's been the storyline now in the 30th minute. Wazinski's huge saves in the first 10 minutes of this one to keep it a clean sheet, 0-0. The Aztecs, as you said, they've had the opportunities and the majority of the possession.
We've probably had to talk about Wazinski a little bit more than he'd care for.
I think as long as we're pronouncing his last name correctly, he's pretty happy.
They'll restart this ball, 42 yards out, work it through off the heel, but Perales again has, for the most part tonight, been able to introduce himself to that ball on his own terms.
Yeah, it's been a pretty leisurely start to this one for Perales. He's gotten a few touches here and there, gotten to work himself into the game. Wazinski not so lucky.
Perales was part of that phenomenal defense on the PDL side that the Austin Aztecs had. So stingy. This year, Aztecs have allowed 3 goals all in one match. Their last home contest, it was a Wednesday affair against the USL side of Vancouver.
And both these squads tied in 6th place in the USL with goals scored, 4 apiece. With the Aztecs, they played 3. United SC only 2 matches under their belt.
Ball sent up ahead, looking for Dershing. Former Aztec in his own right, back in 2013 in the PDL.
And Dershing getting a lot of handshakes and hugs coming off the bus. A lot of friendly, familiar faces here in Austin.
He was with Harrisburg last year in the USL Pro. With the Harrisburg City Islanders, had 6 goals in his 24 matches a year ago. This year already has a goal, game winner against the OC Blues in that opener. Just the way the schedule played out, Arizona United SC will have played both matches at the OC Blues before they ever have their first home game, whether it be against the Blues or anybody else.
Well, the good news for United SC fans is even though they started the season with 4 road games, they will have 4 home games to follow, so plenty of opportunities to see their team at Scottsdale Stadium.
Chance for the front office to finally do some handshaking and show off their hard work this offseason.
Yeah, that being said, a tip of the cap to the Austin Aztecs front office. They've done a fantastic job. Everything here, the beer garden over behind, all of the new seats, and really making House Park a home for the Aztecs.
Tierpak centers it, winds up with Roseboom, who looks for Tierpak. That ball deflected off his toe. Yeah, you talk about that beer garden. It has been very popular, especially at halftime. And you and I were informed that they are now showing this broadcast over at the beer garden so that the fans who sneak over a little early to avoid the long lines won't miss any action.
Yeah, they've done a wonderful job transforming this high school football lacrosse stadium into a home that the Aztecs can be proud of. All kinds of food vendors, live music. The Aztecs fans, they're here early. They stay late, and they have a wonderful time.
That was a quick shot, a little friendly fire, and a turnover when it's all said and done. Ryden. Again, Ryden, a man who I know the Austin Aztecs supporters group, Everly's Army, was thrilled to have sent down from Columbus after being drafted from the Aztecs in the Super Draft in January. And this ball quickly restarted by Arizona United SC, and now they're going to redo the restart as there is a Aztec down right now out of your shot.
Sani Toure slow to get back to his feet. Always a question, the health of that left knee of Sani Toure.
I did not see what happened. Of course, we've already seen those two gentlemen right there collide once, and Toure did not get the better of it.
Yeah, they've gotten to know each other very well, and just in the 34th minute.
Toure playing this match on a caution after that collision with the keeper earlier. You see that guarded right knee that he was battling through last year. Joined the San Antonio Scorpions for their NASL championship run last season. He'd actually joined them the year before, right after the end of the USL Pro season. Adding them a nice burst at the top. Inside the 18. Opportunity, though, short-lived.
Yeah, good work that time on the back line. The captain, Hoffer, able to knock it away. The Aztecs are going to have to keep an eye on Toure. Injuries have been an issue early in this season. You said Alfred Shams out, the hamstring, Guadasi with the knee, Fekete out the foot, and the other Brazilian from Curitiba, Fernando Timbo, he is yet to suit up here in the 2015 season.
Midway through the 35th minute in this opening half. And so far, we're all envious of the individual whose job it is to operate the scoreboard.
The only one getting any action on the other side in the press box. But it's been a very well-played game. You've got to like what you've seen through almost 35 minutes of play. Great action, box to box. Both teams looking to take control early. And if you're a fan, even though there's no score, very enjoyable to watch.
Well, it certainly started to level out for the visitors in the past 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, they had to weather that initial storm, and the Aztecs, that's their MO. They want to start quick, try to get that first goal in the first 15 or maybe even the first 30 minutes and really put the pressure on their opponents to come back.
By the way, there was a threat of a storm before the match today. That never came. Perhaps it will tomorrow, but it has allowed there to be slightly cooler temperatures, although folks from Arizona not too scared of the heat. They might be a little turned off by the humidity here in Central Texas.
Yeah, currently 70 degrees, cloudy. Humidity, well, close to the 60% mark.
Yeah, if it's 70 degrees in Austin, most of us probably feel like it could snow at any moment.
Yeah, generally 70 is the mark here in Central Texas where you start seeing the parkas come out.
Aztecs in blue, Arizona United SC in all white. They arrived in town yesterday. Again, had some former Austin residents on their roster to show them around. Though very little sightseeing, got right to work.
This was a business trip in every sense of the word. They were not here for the live music, the barbecue, or the Tex-Mex. They were simply here for the 3 points.
Thank goodness Jimmy Kimmel doesn't have a USL team.
I don't know if that would be the fittest team in the league.
Well, the Aztecs have not been able to threaten that final third of this pitch as of late. Teray, they say, is onside, and again, chasing after the loose ball, punched out wide by Wazinski. Somehow he came through again with another answer.
Start calling him Waz the Great. Absolutely phenomenal that time. Thought for sure Teray beat him, had the angle, and Wazinski able to stretch the long arm out and punch it into touch for the throw.
That allows numbers to get back to help him out. He and Teray have been going at it all evening long out there on the pitch. Toss inside the 18. First touch for the Aztecs. Rosaboom pushed off his spot. And pardon me, that was Ryan Rushendell, the center back, who was playing all the way up for that set piece. And here he is, his left boot on display. That ball continued to climb over the crossbar with some heat on it.
That good idea, Rushendell. A little time and space. The shot, as you said, just continuing to climb over the bar, unable to keep it on frame. The Aztecs, they've got to be getting a bit frustrated here. The final 7 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half, yet to find the back of the net. Waz just stoning them at every opportunity.
That's probably only about the 5th best look that Austin has had thus far. But the result has been the same every time. No damage done. As you see Wazinski's leg on display. Wind at his back ever so slightly here in this opening half. Not influencing the match thus far.
Really just a picture-perfect evening considering it's already almost the middle of April here in Central Texas. Used to temperatures closer to 90 degrees than 70. Fans out enjoying it in bunches.
Do not expect much stoppage time here in the opening half, if any.
Cleanly played first half, only one caution. That was going to the the Aztec Sandy Toure back in the 21st minute.
But perhaps a miscue by the Aztecs as they retreat. Ball poked inside. This from 15 yards out. Access denied.
Oh, beautiful job knocking it away. I believe that was the captain Hoffer up to it defensively, able to deflect the shot before it ever found Perales.
A dangerous moment there. Aztecs survive. As Arizona United SC will concede some ground. 50 yards out before this approach. Ball on the foot of Long Tan, talented 27-year-old from China.
And we talk about the growth of the game in the U.S. Absolutely exploding in China, the fastest growing country in the world for soccer.
Dan already with a game winner this year, but no second goal on the season just yet.
You got to imagine with 1 billion people, it's only a matter of time before they hoist a World Cup.
Looking for Touré, and a foul on the man with the 20 on his back.
Speaking of international soccer, a big game coming this Wednesday just down the road in San Antonio, USA in Mexico. And, well, there will be a watch party there in the Valley of the Sun. And it will be, let me take a look here. It is going to be Kelly's at Southbridge. So all the United SC fans will be on. I'm feeling there may be a few rooting for opposing squads in that one.
Tickets went quickly for that one in the Alamo Dome.
Sold 65,000 plus in just over 10 days.
20 yards out. One step inside the 18, but nothing more. At least not yet. Well, you and I actually spotted a couple of Crocketeers shirts here in Austin for this matchup. Crocketeers are a big soccer supporter group in San Antonio, cheering on football at all levels. You know, they were allotted tickets at the Alamo Dome, and quickly they were given more tickets to sell. Doing such a great job getting the word out, both on behalf of San Antonio and the United States.
And a lot of Austin Aztex fans going to be making the trip, and certainly their supporters group, Everly's Army, they will be there in numbers to cheer on the USA this coming Wednesday.
Everly's Army had their first watch party of the USL season this year, cheering on the Aztecs to that victory in Tulsa on Saturday.
Something La Furia Roja 1881 has gotten down pat now, their third away game to start the season.
And Tempe tonight. Inside the final 4 minutes of regulation here in this first half, another miscue. As Aztecs call for numbers, get the help. Perales inching closer back towards his own line.
And good work from Tan winning it back for United SC.
Rosales on the near touchline. Sends it right off Ambrose's backside.
And the native of North Mesquite, just there in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
50-50. That favored Arizona United SC.
Now the Aztecs with an opportunity.
Chance out wide, but instead no angle.
And a little bit uncharacteristic of the Aztecs, choosing to slow things down a bit. This is a team that anytime they win it back, they immediately like to press pace the other way.
Yeah, they were a little less organized last few times they went up tempo, and it almost cost them on the counter.
That's the thing about the counterattack. You're playing with fire. If it works, it's fantastic. If not, you're going to get burned.
Valentino, the captain on the back line, sends it forward, but back over to Austin.
Valentino, one of the veterans for Arizona United.
Spent the last 4 years with that powerhouse in Orlando before they moved up to MLS.
Playing for his hometown squad, the native of Phoenix.
And this will be Austin with the toss. About 25 yards out. As it winds up on the foot of Golden. Rosaboom. Final 2 minutes of the opening half here at House Park in Austin. Over our shoulders is the State Capitol Rotunda here in Austin. Largest Capitol building in the United States, and it hovers over downtown. Beautiful sight lines here at House Park.
I know Arizona United very excited about moving to Scottsdale Stadium right there and very close to downtown. Well, House Park just blocks from downtown Austin here at 12th and Lamar. Walking distance to all the live music venues. World famous Austin, the live music capital of the world.
All this land was donated by the House family back in the 1800s. Back then it was their pasture for their horses. Horses don't do much grazing on field turf.
Things have changed a bit, as they have in Phoenix.
Step through with those green boots. Attack still live for Austin here in the final minute. Rosaboom feels pressure, fires it up ahead to Tierpak, able to turn. He'll surrender it. And it's Ryden trying to get to this ball first. Awkward touch, but Perales slides in. A rare occasion in which he had to get to that ball first.
And possibly the most difficult save of the first half for Perales, right? And getting just enough of it to nudge it back.
No indication of any stoppage time. And as I say that, it appears there will be either 1 or 2 minutes. Did not see it clearly. It looks like a 1 down there. So there will be a 46th minute here in this first half. The first meeting between these two USL sides from Austin and Arizona.
The second year United SC, first year Austin Aztex, and fantastic first half in their first ever meeting.
They will come back to Austin and collide again May 16th before both trips on back-to-back weeks in September 17th and September 25th. Austin will be in town over there on the east side of Phoenix. Just the way the schedule plays out. One of those is a Friday matchup, so it'll be 8 days separating the two matches in September. There's the whistle that sends it to halftime. It was an eventful opening 4 minutes and then subsequent 10 minutes to follow, full of dangerous opportunities for Austin, but in the end, no goal rearing its head as of yet. 0-0 our score here at House Park. As we take a break, the Aztecs and Arizona United SC, their first of 4 meetings, halfway complete here in 2015.
It's USL Rising. It's an exciting day for us, exciting time and an exciting future ahead. USL is an aspirational league, so we felt USL Rising was a good moniker, as you call it, for where we are now and where we aspire to be. 2015 season, we're going to see 24 clubs in the league, 13 new clubs. So, incredible off-season growth. Very proud about that, very proud about the quality of the groups joining us. They're going to add a tremendous amount of value to the league. Going on this rebranding process, I would say it's going back about 6 or 8 months now. But the decision to rebrand came before that. Last year it was part of a strategic plan, a long-term plan for the league, which had a number of initiatives that we would work through over the next 3 to 4 years. But the rebrand was the central pillar from which all of those other initiatives should flow. We're at a point now in our league where we've got a really solid foundation. We've worked hard as a league and as member clubs to get where we are now. And we're about to embark on a whole host of new things, but a new era for the league. So we want to look at the name of the league. We want to look at the look and feel. And we want to look at the story. And were we communicating all the things that we wanted to through those different meetings? We didn't think we were. So the rebrand was exactly that, putting a story together. We've worked hard on that. We believe we're telling the story with our pillars, and we're rallying around the We Are United. I feel very strongly about the We Are United. We're united as a set of clubs, united as a set of communities, and a united fan base. And we're all working towards the same goal, to make this league the best league, and to make those clubs in those markets the best clubs. So when we designed the new system for the USL, we didn't want it to go to the traditional route of a shield or a crest or a league mark that was inflexible, that was had to be sort of worshipped. It wasn't about the league. So we felt, as we went through the design process with our design firm, Good Omen Partners in New York, we were very excited to go down the road of looking at the USL as a word mark, a stylized word mark, as the logo itself for the league. And what's really cool about the logo is yes, there's a primary mark and there's primary colors, and that's how we'll use it in the main as from the league's point of view, but it was designed as a geometrical toolkit. You know, it's got the geometry of the football field in there, and it's got the squares and the triangles and the semicircles and all the shapes and angles that you find on a field contained within it, so that it is completely adaptable, and that was the whole direction we wanted to go. It's customizable and adaptable to the local clubs, to their club colors, to their designs, to how they want to identify themselves through the brand, to the league's brand, or the supporters, how the supporters want to identify to their local club through the USL mark. They can do that with the team's colors. Their corporate partners can do the same thing. So it's very adaptable. So the league logo can take a back seat, but it's more about the clubs. And we thought that was really cool. And I think the feedback we've got so far from the clubs has been really positive. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
And here comes Duty. Duty as Lynch turns from the center, finds Gall, and how about that goal for St. Louis? That was a fantastic ball from Lynch to find Gall, and we've mentioned that several times. Dave playing with that back to the goal, and Gall got the quick turn.
Rose back to Toma, nice combination from T2. Andy Toma with the left back coming forward. Low on the ground into the box, to the top of the area, Stephen Evans! What a goal! Stephen Evans on his college pitch, it's 2-1!
By Toronto FC 2. Good win back for Davis. Chipped ahead, and this one is in for a goal. Anatol Abong.
All clear.
Yeah. Try to catch that over the player with maybe just clear it. And
so here is Walls shooting, and he scores. Walls bending it over to the wall, and Rochester has its first goal of the 2015 season, and nothing Thompson could do.
Back onto the boot, to the outside. Here's a shot from way outside and a goal.
Tierpak.
Wow.
That man again, what a goal it was.
Halftime in Austin, the first of 4 meetings this year between Austin and Arizona. Everybody in the Western Conference scheduled to play a home and home, and then there are 6 matches on your schedule that essentially are divided up against teams in your region. And well, for Austin, that means they play teams like the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs 4 times, and they also will meet this squad from just outside Phoenix on 4 occasions as well. Thrilled to have you with us for the broadcast this evening. A reminder that all USL regular season and playoff games are available live, free, and in high definition on YouTube. You can connect with USL YouTube channel today as you have for this evening's broadcast. And a great thing about these broadcasts, you can take them on the go with you. In case you're running late to a ball game, tune in to your favorite announcers and listen in to all the action early on. Both teams making their way out of the locker room. And well, again, you can also keep up with the league by following @USL on Twitter to become a league insider. Join conversations and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico with you the rest of the way, as in a moment they'll be putting more time up on the clock for the final 45. But Kit, this is a Arizona side that we have mentioned has played 2 matches on the road. Well, Austin is fresh off their first match on the road, and well, there are 2 quick strikes off the boot of Chris Tierpak that led to 3 points for Austin.
Trying to find Tierpak, splits the middle. Lubin has to come off of his line. Tierpak is there, and a goal for Austin. Back onto the boot, to the outside. Here's a shot from way outside and a goal.
Tierpak.
Wow.
That man again, what a goal it was.
And that second strike from Tierpak, Kit, one of the class goals of this past week, gave him a brace and allowed him to take the rest of the evening off.
An absolutely fantastic strike there, his second goal of the evening. And that would be enough. 2-0 the final scoreline in that one. So we get ready for the start of the second half. And the story here in the first half, the Aztecs unable to take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented to them. And a lot of that is the man between the sticks for Arizona United, Carl Lazinski. He has been absolutely lights out, spectacular. The Aztecs, as we mentioned in the pregame, this is a team they want to play 90 minutes. That is one of the keys to the game. They didn't do that in the first half. They played a great first 10 minutes, took a bit of a break, came back, had another good 10, 12-minute session, and another break. Head coach Paul Dalglish will certainly be unhappy with their performance and looking for more in the second 45.
You and I probably expected to say the name Dennis Chin a little more often. He was on the team of the week to kick off this USL season, but Chin with 2 goals, 1 assist already to his name this year. The Jamaican thus far has been held at bay, and you get the feeling the second half could be a different story.
Well, Chin and the X Factor, my X Factor coming into this game, Robbie Deershang, the ex-Austin Aztec, now with United SC, both of them have been absolutely absent for the first 45 minutes. Didn't mention them, mentioned Deershang once, I believe, and didn't mention Chin at all. So those guys really have to get in on the action, have to find the ball, and hopefully find the back of the net if you're a United fan.
Referee Kyle Phillips trying to set the tone for the second half, talking to both sides on their way out of the locker room. So as we have just a few more moments until the start of the second half, a great opportunity to remind you to check out the new USLsoccer.com. You can get the latest news and live stats and check out the new social media hub. Great way to follow along to these broadcasts is with your browser open to USLsoccer.com and follow with the stats along the way. See which side is out shooting the other, who has had the most opportunities. And well, early on it was Austin with all of the chances, but at the moment 0-0 our score here at the half. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico with you, and Kit, what are you looking forward to here in the second half in the early moments?
Well, that man right there, Devin Perales, he's going to have to play well. I have a feeling he's going to see a few more shots come his way than he did in the first 45 minutes. His counterpart absolutely lights out. The Aztecs need to keep doing what they're doing. Have possession, pressure, hope something breaks on the back line for United SC. For Arizona, they have to find a way to get the ball up to Tan and Chin. Those are the danger men up front, and so far, they've been absent.
Let this serve as the final warning to all of you who are lollygagging around the beer garden right now. Second half is about to get started. Head on back over to your seats after you get your order. Again, live music also featured at each of these home matches, as well as food trucks in a true Austin, Texas feel at each of these matches at House Park. Arizona United SC in the all-white kits here on the road tonight. They are perfect thus far this season, 6 points through 2 road matches.
Again, take this opportunity to welcome all the fans watching at the Handlebar in Tempe. So please, you could join us, and a special hello to La Furia Roja, 1881, the Red Fury, the independent Phoenix soccer supporters group, proudly supporting United SC.
A nice job hanging on to this attack. The ball out wide, opportunity to cross and headed out. It'll be just the second corner of the match for the Aztecs.
This is how the Aztecs started the first half. The same here in the second. We'll see if they can get something to show for it.
It'll be an in-swinger off a left boot as you see numbers collecting, including Tierpak on the line for Austin.
Keep an eye on Rochandel, the big body. As Ambrose set for the in-swinger.
Big game of chess underway in the 6th. And a nice response from Arizona. That ball never with a chance.
Very well defended right there. The ball service could have been a bit better, but as you said, Arizona defending it masterfully, able to clear it out of danger.
For those of you who are actually in the Austin area but watching, missing out on the match in person tonight, your next chance will be just around the corner to check out the Aztecs right here at House Park. As the next home game will be April 25th against the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the same side that Austin defeated in their professional debut to kick off this season 2-0, in which we saw Sani Toure collect the first goal, only for his roommate and former teammate with the Scorpions last year, Trevin Caesar, pick up the insurance.
That's where he picked up the only caution of the first half, coming back in the 21st minute. Very well played first half, up and up on both teams. Obviously, both giving their all, but no chippiness, no malintent from either team.
I don't think these two sides know each other well enough. Well, despite several of them being former teammates. Opportunity, 20 yards down, left boot, a header inside, put on the money, and coming forward is Perales with his best Wazinski impression.
Oh, beautiful ball played in, switching it to the near side, and Perales comes out quickly off his line, able to take that one.
Oh, best look of the night for the visitors from Arizona. They got within 6 feet of that final destination. Here's Tierpak out wide on the right wing.
Big shoulder-to-shoulder collision there. I'm going to say Tierpak last to touch it.
Yeah, simply a goal kick coming up for Wazinski.
Arizona United starting the second half in fine form as they have their best opportunity of the match.
We talk about how you can take these broadcasts on the go, but of course YouTube also allows you to scroll back and have highlights and replay at any time you want. Then you can rejoin us by clicking the live button. Well, that stop by Perales the last time down, maybe one you want to take another look at. Again within 30 yards, numbers pushing forward, another attack straight on and back of the net. Arizona flexing their muscle early out of the locker room here in the second half.
And the Chinese international, Mr. Tan, beautiful touch, puts that one in the upper 90. And the porous defending from the Aztecs, that ball played in, Tan just redirecting it. And the visitors strike first in the 49th minute.
Yeah, Brad Stisser able to help create it all. Product down to Colorado, and just like that, Arizona, who started to build momentum before halftime, comes through with a strong debut here in these first 4 minutes out of the locker room.
Stisser and Tan, both second-year members of the second-year club, both re-signed. Tan, the all-second team forward last year in 2014, getting off to a great start in 2015. And we mentioned at the break, Chin or Tan, one of the two of them was going to have to make some noise. And Long Tan first on the board.
And Tan, the 27-year-old from China, was with Arizona United last year for 12 games, over 1,000 minutes, 5 goals the result. And finding his second goal of the year just a moment ago.
So now the pressure on the Aztecs as they look to grab an equalizer quickly.
If you're wondering about Dennis Chin and the Jamaican's last name, grandparents from China. So a common tie between he and Tan, besides both being exceptional at what they do professionally. That is score.
I don't know how good Chin's Mandarin is. We'll have to ask.
I'll leave that one to you. You and I first saw Dennis Chin when he was briefly with the San Antonio Scorpions, an hour south of here in the NASL.
I had the opportunity to talk to him last year. Great guy, just what you would expect. Very warm, very friendly. Will talk your ear off.
He was a teammate with Sandy Ture that final portion of the season. And you can tell Arizona United, after having to come back last week, has the lead here, and they have seen a 1-0 advantage squandered earlier this season by their opposition, including Los Dos last weekend. They're looking for that insurance goal quickly now.
Arizona looking for more. 1-goal lead, not enough. The Aztecs are forced to sit back and defend at this point. Austin, not a team that generally plays well from behind. They like to get the lead early, press it, and add 2 and 3 to it.
Austin had a chance in that 4th minute and a couple more before the first half hour had come to a conclusion. But the 2 class looks here in the second half have each belonged to Arizona. One got within 6 yards of that finish line, and the final one crossed easily through the posts.
The good news for the Aztecs, still plenty of time to get an equalizer and a winner here in the second half. The bad news, they are not the better team on the pitch here in the start of the second. Beautiful ball out to the far side, using the full width, switching the field of play.
Right in front of the Arizona bench. A little misstep. Rosenboom sends it up to Turay. Turay's first chance to stretch his legs here in the second half. And a ball in touch in front of Austin's bench.
Bit of confusion on the far side. You mentioned the multiple different colored lines on the field. Maroon for lacrosse, blue for soccer, white for American football.
Trevin Caesar will be the first man to enter, and he comes in for the man who made his debut in the starting 11, Drew Yates, who sees his day come to a conclusion. Trevin Caesar comes on, the international out of TNT. 25-year-old we noted last year was part of that North American Soccer League Championship. You see Paul Dalglish also pulling out Rouchandel, as Andres Cuero will make his second appearance for the Aztecs here at home.
Cuero, the local product out of Westlake High School, played for the Aztecs 2013 USL PDL Championship squad. Very good midfielder, both defending and offensively. See if he can add a little bite to the middle of the pitch.
Well, the 3 men now on the pitch at forward for Austin have accounted for all 6 of the Aztecs goals. I should say all 4 of the Aztecs goals this season. Maybe 6 by the end of the night if they have their way.
The Aztecs coming out in the 4-4-3. You can see that middle triangle. The new addition, Cuero, along with Rocha and Rosenboom. Rosenboom, the back end, the defensive part of that triangle, really adding a little bit of strength there for the Aztecs.
The captain, Valentino, sends it to the opposite back line. Well, so many expansion sides this year, but Arizona not one of them. You mentioned the heartbreak despite a fantastic finish last season, missing out by a point of grabbing that final spot in postseason play.
Despite winning their last 4 games of the regular season, I might add.
But off to a fantastic start here this spring.
Chen gets one of his first touches of the second half and immediately pressured by Gunderson. See what the Aztecs want to do, not give Chen any space to work with the ball at his feet.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. You can follow them online on Twitter at Nike Soccer for all the latest Nike soccer information. And that time it was the left boot of Wazinski intervening with the attack from Austin, a quick restart.
And you see the speed of the new addition. Caesar immediately causing problems for the Arizona defense.
Slow roller finds Kalen Ryden. And we talk about this year, most of the USL sides with a relationship with Major League Soccer teams in the top division of the U.S. Soccer Pyramid. For the Aztecs, that is with the Columbus Crew SC. a team they actually hosted in the preseason at a widely celebrated preseason tournament not too far from here on the campus of the University of Texas, in part because I think most folks were claiming the best trophy they've seen in sports. The Armadillo Trophy, complete with a couple of 6-shooters in a holster.
The inaugural ATX Pro Challenge. Austin Aztex inviting DC United, FC Dallas, and their MLS affiliate club, Columbus Crew SC, down to the campus of the University of Texas, the beautiful facility over there at Mike Myers Field. You alluded to that amazing trophy.
Tier pack, it was 1-on-2, a man on each hip has won an opportunity in that far corner.
DC United, the victor of the ATX Pro Challenge, getting to take that back. Talked with their Argentine forward, Fabian Espindola, and he asked me, what is this exactly? Didn't know how to translate that in Spanish.
It's the one armadillo that was able to cross the road successfully.
6-shooters might have helped in that.
Left boot about to be on display for this corner from Ambrose. He'll keep it tight. Header towards the far post. Aztecs will have a chance to collect, but not before this ball drifts 25 yards out.
Yeah, good ball. Cuero tried to redirect it. May have had a better opportunity to just go ahead and send that one on the goal of Lazinski.
Looking for the equalizer with every delivery towards that frame. Right now being occupied by Carl Wazinski. And Wazinski in frame last year with Orlando. 3 shutouts through 5 matches. Prior 2 seasons with the LA Blues, now the OC Blues. Opposite in, and that one, insurance just too tall for the crossbar, and you see Tan thinking he should have had a brace, perhaps, if he could have dialed it down.
He knows that was a huge opportunity squandered. United should be up 2-0 in that situation. All Tan had to do was redirect that one under the crossbar, but unable to do so, and the lead just 1-0 for United SC.
Opposite side, Caesar out to his roommate Teray, and Teray just escorted that ball across the touchline. Ran out of space. And I think we have some injury concerns right now for, I believe that's Milton Blanco. We haven't had a chance to talk much this evening about the 30-year-old veteran out of Fresno. He will come out. And it's Daniel Antunes who came off the bench for the final half hour in that victory over the LA Galaxy 2 this last weekend, making his 3rd appearance on the year.
Antunes will get just about the same run this afternoon. Just over 30 minutes remaining.
Can Austin reclaim the form they had in the first half hour of this match? For Arizona started to click.
Arizona just improving all the way through the first half, and they've come out on fire here in the second, really taking it to the Aztecs.
In touch, quick toss from Hoffer, the captain. Says a lot for the center back Hoffer that he was chosen to wear the armband this year. A lot of men with great past here in Austin.
Hoffer, a veteran, the longtime Rochester Rhino, native of Bardonia, New York, and one of those guys that he's always calm, cool, and collected no matter how pressure-packed the situation. Always able to take a deep breath and settle things down. That's what you want in a center back.
The light mist and now light rain becoming more and more evident for those of you tuning in. Especially you see when we go to those wider shots up in the lights. A little bit of a caution, but without a card.
Umbrellas popping up, fans making their way for the awnings.
Now in a few months, those umbrellas will simply be here for the purpose of shade.
Something the fans back in Phoenix certainly know something about.
Well, Carl Wazinski has done his job thus far. No clean sheet through those first 2 matches in which they collected 6 points.
USL goalie of the week in week 1 here in 2015. Chen, the only member on the week 2 squad for Arizona United. The Aztecs yet to put a member on in the last 2 weeks.
Shot from distance wide of that near post.
Aztecs very, very lucky. The poor outlet there from Perales, and he was almost bitten by it. The shot not on frame, but the Aztecs defense not improving after conceding that initial goal. And it's still looking porous. Arizona United lucky to have not found the back of the net a second time.
1 hour complete between these two sides meeting for the first time in the USL. Arizona United SC last year in the USL Pro, while the Austin Aztecs were wrapping up their third year looking for a back-to-back championship performance in the PDL. As you see, the MVP of that national championship year 2 years ago run out of real estate.
The ball moving a bit quicker now with some moisture on this synthetic surface, and you saw at that time Tierpak unable to track it down inbounds. It'll be something to watch as this game progresses, especially if the rain keeps up.
Everybody respecting the leg of Wazinski. Drifting towards midfield, and the left boot delivers. What an advantage that is. You can eat up half the real estate.
His counterpart Perales can do the same thing. These guys can put a ball 70 yards in the air.
Can Austin find its first goal before conceding a second? Point still available, whether it be 3 or 1. At the moment, trailing the visitors, Arizona United. It'll be the Aztecs' second straight home loss if they cannot find an equalizer.
Yeah, the Aztecs had trouble getting traction. They won their season opener, lost the second game here to Vancouver Whitecaps FC2. Won on the road, looking to get a streak going tonight, but they're going to have to find their way back.
Well, Paul Dogley, manager of the Aztecs, again, he still looking for that lineup that will click.
He's got a lot of luxuries with some quality players on the bench. Talked about the injury issues in the first half. People like Alfred Caroma-Shams, young man on US U23 duty. The Brazilian Guaraci out, along with his countryman Fernando Timbo. The Aztecs, as you said, just have been unable to find that perfect combination of the starting 11.
Some shuffling in the formation itself as well coming into this matchup.
There are a few constants, and one of them is Devin Perales in goal.
He is allowed just one more ball get past him than we've seen conceded by Wazinski. But right now, that's the difference.
We talked about it pregame, we talked about it at half. One of the keys for the Aztecs is they have to play 90 minutes. Didn't do it in the first half, not doing it here in the second as Perales comes way out to head that away.
He goes with the forehead, unable to use either hand outside the 18. Cross inside, nobody home.
Dangerous ball across the front of goal.
Still not cleared. And a corner kick will be conceded after it looked like they had Tan available waiting in the wings to fire home another one.
Just all kinds of miscommunication on that Austin Aztecs back line, not knowing who's going where, who's covering whom. And the result, they concede a corner.
Again, the man from Aberdeen, Scotland, Scott Morrison, will continue to handle these corners. Played every minute so far this year, has Morrison, the defender. Left boot sent in. And there will not be another corner to follow. It'll simply be a goal kick.
The Aztecs becoming more and more compressed in their defensive third. They have to start breaking out, use the speed of Caesar, Toure up front, over on the far side, Tierpak.
That midfield for Arizona has been winning the battles here in the second half.
No, and so right you are. One of our other keys to the game, the Austin Aztecs midfielders, they had to drop back, had to take care of their defensive responsibilities, and we've seen the disconnect between the back line and the midfield. Rosenboom doing the best he can to be that connector. He can't do it alone.
When those schedules came out and Arizona saw 4 away matches to begin things in March and April, if someone had told them there'd be a chance they'd have 9 of the 9 possible points through the first 3 matches, I have to imagine they'd be thrilled. It included a comeback victory on the road last weekend. They established the advantage here despite Austin trying to pound down that door early.
It's also a team that won their last 4 games of last year's regular season, currently on a 6-game winning streak in USL play.
This ball being taken laterally by Jonathan Topp.
Must also credit Arizona, Arizona United SC, the only Arizona team to have reached the 4th round of the U.S. Open Cup.
That's a good reminder that, of course, these USL teams will enter on May 20th. Zany Toure will come out. And in his place, Brendan King, 25-year-old, former player for the Irish of Notre Dame, where he led in goals and assists in his collegiate career. Was at the tryouts back in October for these Aztecs, made the team.
King, the longtime member of the Chicago Fire, Naperville, Illinois native. Some very good soccer players coming out of Naperville, just south of greater Chicago area. And you said the Aztecs picked him up in an open tryout. Indeed they did. He'd taken some time off. Wasn't sure if he wanted to continue playing. The Aztecs able to twist his arm a bit, bring him back to the pitch.
Former 27th overall selection by Portland in the Super Draft of 2012.
That's one thing you'll see on both of these rosters, a lot of high draft picks.
A whistle will not allow Tierpak to pull the trigger on that one. Ball in touch over to Arizona. Austin fans thought they had something building.
It's been a tough night for the Aztecs faithful. Thought that their team was going to find the initial goal there in the first 10 minutes, just trying to beat down the door of Wazinski. Wazinski doing everything he could to keep it closed and able to do just that.
Long Tan's second goal of the year. Will it prove to be his second game winner for Arizona here early on? Talk about how well traveled he has been. First began with a team in his home country or joining the PDL side in Atlanta. We saw him in the NASL with FC Tampa Bay, now the Rowdies. In Vancouver, DC, and MLS, Orlando City as well. Right now finds himself wearing the all-white kits for Arizona with the advantage thanks to his boot. And perhaps looking for more. Nice run on the wing. Cross sent inside, poked out. This from ultimately 30 yards straight away.
A great save from Perales, able to parry that one away. But again, the Aztecs unable to clear the danger ball, putting it right back into the heart of the Arizona United attack. Arizona able to redirect the shot. There's only a great save from Perales that keeps it from the second goal.
If this was a Friday night here in Austin during the fall, any place kicker would have loved to have the ball right where that kick was taken.
Yeah, beautiful touch. You could see it there on the 30-yard line. Just a lashing. That one put low and hard. The Aztecs defense was continuing to give the ball back in dangerous situations.
Tapped inside to Caesar. Inside the 18, across far post, and Tierpak needed just a split second longer to get there.
Beautiful diagonal ball across the face of goal. 2 Aztecs there. Cuero and Tierpak neither able to redirect that one past Wazinski. The Aztecs, their best opportunity in at least 20 minutes.
But will that build some confidence? Will those individuals lock eyes again here in the coming moments?
Talked about Caesar, the super sub. He came on in the second half and immediately affecting the game. Has speed that you can't teach. One of those things that just gives defenses fits.
If that ball had found the big toe of Tierpak, I don't know if even Wazinski with the night he has had, if he would have had an answer.
So the Aztecs head man there, Paul Dalglish, having some words for our 4th official.
Throw in coming from Rosales.
And Paul Dalglish started his career there on the other side of the pond, as you might expect, in the Celtic and Liverpool youth systems, teams his father coached. We're coming over here to great success as a member of the Houston Dynamo.
70 minutes complete. How will the final 20 unfold? This touch just too heavy for Austin to continue. Yeah, Paul Dalglish, manager here in Austin for that national championship, but for those not familiar with the story, he was actually in the MLS last year as an assistant. That meant that assistant coach for Austin, Manuel Benteos, was promoted to head coach. Manuel stuck around for the staff this year, back to his assistant role when Paul was rehired, with the Aztecs moving up to the USL.
Good ball across the face of goal. Aztecs lucky that one didn't find an Arizona United player. And Paul spending last year as an assistant with Real Salt Lake, one of the most successful teams in Major League Soccer. Very happy to come back. Said he always envisioned himself as a head coach. He thinks the Aztecs, they're the team where he's going to make his mark. He's already won a championship at PDL level. Now looking for one in the pro ranks.
Caesar trying to center up to Tierpak. Yeah, last year, Dalglish in MLS and his top pupil from the national championship, Tierpak. With Chivas USA, of course, bittersweet when Chivas USA ultimately did not continue into this year. Left Tierpak searching for a squad, briefly with San Jose. But in the end, he knew the answer was joining Austin for this inaugural season on the professional side.
Yeah, Tierpak happy to be home, a local kid, has friends and family in every game, sitting in the same seats, talks about how nice it is to be playing in his hometown, and obviously looking for another trip up to the MLS. Hoping a successful season here will send him that way.
Perales out of his box. Caesar, one of the subs this half for Dalglish. Still on his feet.
Caesar lucky to retain it there, doing what he does best, running with it. Oh, poor giveaway.
Ryden gave it up. The man on loan from Columbus. Now he has help from friends. Perales will feel this off a much friendlier hop than he had seen previously.
Now that ball deflected. An opportunity there maybe to lay it off to someone coming on an overlapping run. With a shot taken with two defenders in tow. Never reached Perales, reaching Perales after the deflection. An easy save.
Big sigh of relief for Kalen Ryden, who, as you noted, the native of Norman, Oklahoma, gave that ball right up. Got back to slow down the attack. Morrison directing traffic here.
Ryden very impressive. He almost made a huge mistake there.
And that's a souvenir ball about 4 rows deep. Lincoln Rose, Kip McConico with you as fewer than 17 minutes of regulation left. Kit, you'll be back on the air tomorrow with your local radio show, Talking Soccer on 104.9 FM, The Throw-In, with your teammates. I imagine this will be among the topics, seeing if Austin could bounce back from an early deficit. So far, still looking for that first goal.
Yeah, this is a big topic of conversation all week. Would the Aztecs be able to string 2 victories together for their first winning streak of the season? They've got just over 15 minutes to do that, trailing 1-0.
Would not mind their first draw on the year. They're going to have to be able to figure out how to put one past Wazinski in this back line.
That has been the question from the opening minute. The Aztecs still searching for the answer.
As Arizona will continue to matriculate down the near touchline. That clock at the moment, essentially the 12th man out there for Arizona United SC.
United fans back watching in the Valley of the Sun, just continuing to watch the seconds very, very slowly. Can't come off quickly enough. Looking to start the season 3-0, all 3 victories on the road.
Cannot find Caesar on the near side. Back over to Arizona.
And give the United SC defense credit. They have played physically with Caesar. Caesar, one of those guys, likes to play fast, doesn't like the physicality.
This shot with fingers crossed, but ultimately no payday. Again, we remind you can become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. Also very active on Twitter. You can follow them at USL on Twitter. Feel like a league insider by doing so. Join the club conversations as well as have a chance at exclusive giveaways. Great video content as well on their YouTube channel. USL rebranding this year from the familiar USL Pro moniker. A little collision there at midfield, and not just rebranding, but a new look for the USL with all the new sides nearly doubling in size this year from coast to coast, including the Austin Aztex.
I'll have to take a look at the games that took place earlier and watch those tomorrow on YouTube, but right now, Karl Wazinski in the running for his second goalie of the week in just 3 weeks of league play.
If you don't have him in frame tonight, that goal from Tan could very well have done nothing more than cut a deficit in half. Here's a cross, but Wazinski right on cue.
And without Wazinski, this is at least a 1-1 ball game, or possibly the Aztecs with a lead. Not to take anything away from his defense and the other 10 out on the field in white, but he has been absolutely stellar.
Oh, ball played through. Perales retreats to his line, but flag was up offside on the near end.
Linesman coming to the aid of the Aztecs. The Aztecs just not dropping back defensively. Again, numbers in the counterattack favoring United SC, but unable to take advantage.
Still an opportunity for Austin. 13 minutes remaining. We saw just 1 minute of stoppage time in the first half. Similar story here, although we've had some substitutions in the second half, but not much of a delay throughout. Ryden sends it the other way.
A very cleanly played game, only one caution having been issued so far, coming in the 21st minute to Sini Toure of the Aztecs.
Yeah, colliding into Wazinski. I think Wazinski will get credit for a save there when he secured the Aztec. Won that collision. That ball just was able to sneak away from Cuero.
Yeah, heavy touch there. I think Cuero surprised to find himself with the ball at his feet, unable to settle it. That's been the story for the Aztecs all night.
A Saturday night in Austin, Texas. Pitch black skies above. We're at the mercy of the lights here at House Park. Again, a scenic venue. The fans, though, looking for some memories there between the touch lines.
Good defending, knocking that ball away. Caesar hitting the diagonal ball, looking for Cuero. The Aztecs starting to run out of ideas.
They had some good ones early. Arizona again played through, but that is well offside. That'd be one of the easier offside calls to explain to a newcomer.
You like the idea. Great play, ball played into space, but just the run not timed.
Caesar running without the ball on the near side, hoping for a pass his way inside the 18. It's Brendan King with the opportunity there on his right boot a moment ago. Rosaboom.
And La Furia Roja 1881 and all the fans there at the Handlebar in Tempe have to be very impressed with what they've seen and looking forward to seeing their squad in person. They're still going to have to wait one more match.
Caesar left the ball behind. And a moment ago, we told you we were down to 20. The opportunity has now been just about sliced in half. Just in excess of 10 minutes remaining.
The old adage, you want to win at home, look to draw on the road. That is not the case for Arizona United.
And they will not have that first home match still for another couple of weeks. When they do, they'll have 4 straight at their new home.
And their inaugural coming April 25th, hosting Portland Timbers FC2 there at Scottsdale Stadium. Still plenty of time for United SC fans to get their tickets for that one.
A quick handball will keep things going this way. And a yellow for dissent on Arizona. And that yellow being awarded to Joey Dillon, second year with this club. Former Georgetown Hoya.
As you said, Dillon probably wouldn't have been issued the caution had he turned away after the foul. Continued to have a few words for our center official and getting the caution as a result.
We'll see if it leads to anything here for Austin. Deep into the second half, fewer than 10 minutes remaining. And you don't want to leave this one to a hope for some stoppage time. Stoppage time was very kind, though, over in Los Angeles to Arizona United SC this last week. And it was a 1-1 draw, and all of a sudden it was a full 3 points going the way of Arizona. Thanks to a goal past the 90th minute.
At this point, the Aztecs, they would be extremely happy with a 1-1 draw. Not worrying about the 3 points, just looking for the equalizer.
Imagine, though, Arizona has not felt comfortable, unable to find that insurance goal to complement the scoring strike from Tan. Inside the 18, first met by the men in all white. Plucked away. An opportunity well wide.
Yeah, great tackle there from Rocha, the midfielder winning it back, sending things the other way, and instead of slowing things down and looking for a teammate, just launches that one into the adjoining street almost.
Well, it's starting to look like fatigue starting to set in. And as the legs are starting to give, you hope mentally fatigue is not setting in for either side.
Still early here in 2015, just the third game of the season for Arizona, fourth game for the Aztecs. Still trying to get match fit for a full 90 minutes. We'll see if we see any more substitutions.
These are both Western Conference sides. This year, 6 teams will make it into the postseason out of this conference, another 6 out of the East. Top 2 records will get a bye in the first round. Coming into this year, both of these teams were very much in the conversation of those expected to be in the playoff hunt by the end of this year. 20 yards out, coming in for a closer look. Beautiful pass. Can he get it off the right boot? He can, but Perales has time to answer.
Yeah, beautiful pass there from Chin, as you said, eyes open, saw Tan open, looking to double his score sheet. But the shot just at the feet of Perales. No trouble there in the save.
Caesar sends it out one. Caesar, Cuero, and Tierpak are your strikers right now, as they build on the perimeter of the box, but nothing doing. And that clock just keeps ticking.
Now a change for the visitors in the 84th minute. It'll be Mr. Chin coming off. What'll be a subpar night by his very lofty expectations.
Well, I think if you told the Aztecs that Dennis Chin would be held fairly quiet, we'd be pretty pleased with what would likely be the result tonight. I believe that's George Malky, the midfielder from Scottsdale, coming in. Another homegrown player for Arizona United SC. He's drafted by Montreal this past 2014 Super Draft. Longtime member of the U.S. residency program over there in Bradenton.
And the impact of Montreal, the surprise of CONCACAF Champions League. The team representing the MLS has booked their spot in the final. They will take on Mexican giants America in that one. But a huge victory down in Costa Rica, victorious over Alajuelense. MLS looking for a CONCACAF Champions League winner this year.
And a dangerous jab there on the 50-50. And the foul called, but no color, pulled out of the pocket. We saw the difference is that collision, those two shook hands. we've seen plenty of matches already this year, kid, at various levels where that was not going to be a possibility.
As you so correctly stated, these two teams in their first ever match between the two, well, no animosity have built up yet. We'll see if that's the case next time they play each other.
They play 4 times this year in the regular season. They will get to know one another. And that bond of being former teammates on other squads in the past will quickly dissolve. It'll be a matter of whether you're an Aztec or whether you're a member of United SC.
It's all about the badge on the shirt at the moment, not what was on it a season or two previous.
Offside was Longtan. A little gamesmanship from the lone goal scorer tonight.
You got to be impressed. Han knew exactly what he was doing, didn't get the yellow, and he would have taken it in that situation, no problem.
Wazinski with a Michael Jordan-esque diving stop from Birmingham.
Now time starting to become an issue for the Aztecs. Just under 4 minutes remaining, plus stoppage time. And as you said, don't anticipate more than a minute or two at max. Credit Arizona United, even with a 1-goal lead, they've never sat back, never parked the bus, continuing to press, looking for that insurance goal.
They have those 2 identical score victories, 2-1. In their last 2 meetings, they saw their opposition fail each time to secure a second goal for insurance. You have to imagine Arizona's still uncomfortable here with time to go. You just keep stringing victories together, and any thoughts that, well, maybe it's a fluke, maybe it's just a little bit of fortune bouncing our way, eventually it becomes a trend, it becomes your identity, and right now, perfection still hovers around Arizona United SC.
You know, winning is a habit, starting to become habitual for this United SC squad, as you said. Start win 1, 2, 3 games in a row. Your team, you expect to win. You practice harder. You don't expect to lose, and when you do everything you can to get back on the winning side of your next outing.
And those points so valuable when you can get them. Austin was empty-handed in its last home match. That 3-0 loss against Whitecaps FC 2. And at the moment, they're facing the same fate with less than 2 minutes remaining in regulation.
Yeah, Vancouver really took it to Austin from the opening whistle. The Aztecs just weren't ready for the onslaught coming from the team from British Columbia.
Ball back over to the visitors. As Perales, that ball went across the touchline, was about 25 yards off of his own line to be within barking distance of his defenders. Everybody now retreating for the home side.
And Perales and his counterpart, Wazinski, neither one of them shy about coming out of the box.
And all of this just valuable possession for the visitors up by a goal. And finally, a player in your picture.
Inside of the final minute of regulation. As you might expect, United doing everything they can to slow things down.
Heaved up towards midfield, flicked ahead. Final scheduled minute between these two sides as this ball stays in play. A late tackle, and this may bring out the second yellow of the night for Austin, and it does. Now you have to be careful.
Yeah, an easy call right there. The captain, Hoffer, picks up the yellow and now jawing after the play.
Brad Stisser is down. Again, 90 minutes complete. Clock will continue. Stoppage time will be added 3 minutes. And of course, that is no fewer than 3 minutes. With this delay right here, those 3 minutes are not going to start ticking down just yet.
Yet another giveaway defensively by the Aztecs. That time Gunderson giving it away. Stisser with a nice touch. Just met with the heavy tackle.
This was a match dominated early on by the home side Aztecs. It looked inevitable that they would claim, if not a one, perhaps even a multi-goal lead. But the man to strike first and the only man to strike here tonight, Long Tan, the 27-year-old from China. Part of a talented combination up front with Dennis Chin this year. Tan is on track for his second game winner this season. It's good sign seeing Stisser up on his feet here in the late minutes.
Yeah, the fantastic goalkeeping in the first 10 minutes of Wazinski, giving his teammate a lot of confidence, saying if he's going to play this well, we've got to help him out. It took to the second half to find that goal. But Arizona United, very, very impressive, this team in their second year.
Meanwhile, back in action, Arizona with a chance to put icing on this one. Met first by the Aztecs. 3 minutes of stoppage time.
And all too frequently, this has been the case. The Aztecs have been able to clear the initial ball, but not get it in their offensive end.
Roseboom up ahead. Cuero and Tierpak pushing forward. Each without the ball at the moment. Will it find its way to either their feet? Roseboom fires, but this one wide and too tall.
And not the shot you want to see coming from your defensive midfielder. Had plenty of time and room, but not the man who traditionally puts the ball on frame, unable to do so. Now the great and magical Waz will take some more time.
Not a yellow brick kit. It's a pretty good looking kit though here tonight. Goes well with a clean sheet. It would be his first shutout with that defense here on the young season. A couple of 2-1 lines in favor of Arizona this year, preceding tonight's 1-0 affair. And we should still have about a minute remaining.
And if this result does indeed hold, the Aztecs, there are going to be a lot of questions coming up this week.
The Aztecs have shown some fight here in the final moments. Numbers all moving forward. Caesar on the left wing. Will poke it through, and a corner kick will come out of this. Austin with a chance to equalize here in the closing moments. Try to steal some points away from Arizona. Fans on their feet, ready to roar. Left boot delivers face of the frame. But the end result will be the same, a 0 remaining on the scoreboard for the home side.
Another opportunity, same result. I have a feeling that may do it for the evening.
May very well hear the whistle after Wazinski puts his boot into this one. There it is. Perfection continues in 2015 for Arizona United SC. A side that has yet to play a match at home this year, has 9 points through 3 ventures on the road in the USL. 1-0, the victory for the men from the east side of Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, congratulations to Arizona United SC. Very well played, able to weather the initial Aztec storm. Got to half 0-0. The only goal coming from their Chinese forward, Long Tan, to start the second half. The Aztecs, conversely, well, they're going to have to play a full 90 minutes still. The home side have yet to put together 2 full halves of quality play. And something they're going to have to do in short order. Now 2-2 on the season.
Next up for Arizona, a return trip to take on the Blues next Saturday. It'll be their third match through their first 4 affairs in the state of California this year. Meanwhile, for these Aztecs back on the road, they now play Los Dos, a team that Arizona United was able to steal some points away from with that 2-1 victory last weekend. And when they wrap up with that matchup against LA Galaxy on April 19th, Kit, you and I will see them right back here against a familiar foe, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the one side that dropped a match so far here at House Park to the Aztecs. Aztecs now 2 wins, 2 losses on the season. With 1 fewer match under their belt, Arizona United SC 3-0-0. The full 9 points keeps them right there in the hunt at the top of the table. One final time, big thank you to our production side. For Kit McConico, I'm Lincoln Rose. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope you enjoy plenty of football to come tomorrow.